fun begins.
It's the Pizza Head Show.
Hey, everybody! I just saw the Star Wars trilogy at the theater, and hey, what's that?
The Death Star is targeting us, and Princess Steva says you're our only hope.
He's no princess!
Sure he is.
No, I won't. Now what's happening?
Uh-oh, it's Darth Steve. Use the false, Pizza Head.
Too late! I'm hit! I'm going back to Pizza Hut where it's safe. I don't think the Force was with me.
Now you can collect one of 3 Star Wars posters when you buy a Pizza Hut Kids pack.
Hello there.
Hello there. Kyle Katarn here.
I'm the Bendu.
Coming back for another episode of the Dork Forces podcast. What number is this, Bendu?
It is episode 69 indeed. But it is also celebrating the 25th year of the Phantom Menace. So there's a lot of nostalgia to immediately catch up on. That Pizza Hut trailer in of itself definitely is very reminiscent of the 90s and Mr. Bill from
Mr. Bill.
Saturday Night Live.
Oh my God, yes.
Like definitely, torturing claymation figures was something of a period staple for sure. But episode 1 had some of the best overall commercial and just like media. Well, I don't want to say like not media.
With the tie-ins with the merchandising. Like next level,
I suppose. Or yeah.
There was like Pepsi created their own character for like their own species just to promote the Phantom Menace and like the tie-in products. His name was like Marfa.
Same with Brisk Iced Tea.
Like they went full bore into the Phantom
Nice
Menace
episode
promotion.
indeed. Yes.
It really created like a fever pitch of marketing that we never saw again. Like we didn't see it. The prequels always kind of had like a really good marketing push, but Phantom Menace specifically was just like insane. Some of the commercials are so like off the wall. Like some of the lengths these companies went to be part of the hype.
Cerveza, hello.
Know that.
Fucking love you. But yeah, no, like Taco Bell in itself, like even the really weird Godzilla movie that had Inspector Gadget in it, like even that one had like crazy
Godzilla movie with Inspector Gadget.
It had the Godzilla cup holder that you could stick in your fucking windowsill of your car.
See, I haven't seen Godzilla's, but now that I know there's one featuring Inspector Gadget somehow, I really need to know what I'm missing.
Yeah, and Leon the Professional is in it. And the voice actor from The Simpsons who plays Apu. And
You're talking actors. You're talking actors.
Yeah.
Not the character Inspector Gadget.
No.
Okay, because for a second there I was reeling. You had me shook. I was like, what have I been missing out on all this time?
No, the actors. Yeah. No, it was
okay. Oh, nice. Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria. Well, now I really have to check it out because again, I'm pretty Godzilla noob over here.
Yeah, I'm still fucking waiting for -1 to come out to the United States. So anyone who has the ability to change your VPN, the biggest rumor I have heard is if you can trick your Amazon Prime to thinking that you are outside of America, you can watch Godzilla -1 outside of the US. Yes, exactly. It is only out in Japan. Oh my
goodness, hello there.
It did come out May 1st in Japan, but it has not made its fucking way back into the United States. But yeah, still waiting on that one. Still fucking waiting on that one.
Hey Bendu. We have the esteemed Wikipedia in the chat.
Yeah.
King's welcome to you. Like, what an honor. What an honor having you here. That's great. We're just about to dive into quite a few things to cover. It's been a hell of a week for Star Wars, right? So many things have happened.
Yeah.
But at the top of the list, and probably closest to both of our hearts here, the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace.
The birthday. Yes,
the birthday.
The Renaissance.
Christmas, if you will.
The Renaissance of Star Wars, if you will. Like, it was definitely the most like resurgence of the period, and of course, it got its own, complaints and beatdowns, just like the sequels now have and continue to get.
It ran a gauntlet. It ran a gauntlet with those fans, and I feel like that just kind of speaks to the disposition of the average Star Wars fan, and that like not everyone's going to love it initially, but oftentimes like history redeems these films as the generation that did grow up with them becomes adults, and like we made what, like $14 million over the weekend with the re-release. That's insane money, and that's because the kids, us who grew up, we've got grown-up money now, and we're spending it on Star Wars. I mean, the same thing is going to prove true in a generation's time for the sequel trilogy too, because there are kids growing up right now loving it the same way we love the prequels, even though people older than us were trashing on it, and the sequel fans are going to get their due as well. Just you wait.
But yeah, no, with episode 1, the characters, a lot of the promotional commercials that came out, not just from outside companies, but even within itself, like something that you were reminding me of that will kind of jump in here, in a second. But like, I didn't quite remember that even Lucasfilm put out the little, what are they called, like character biopic poems within their
the tone poems. I was gonna bring that up actually.
I had no fucking idea. Like, I remember
you don't remember the Darth
Maul one. I remember the Darth Maul one being written out because like I for sure like remember him saying it out loud in like some random Dark Horse comic. But like a lot of them though.
That's right. They brought it back in. It's the one where he hunted the Rathtars. They brought the tone poem like back into the narration. That was so cool.
Yes. But yeah, let's jump in. Let's rewatch a couple of them because I'm sure a lot of people in the chat either A, haven't seen these before, B, don't remember them, or C, this is their first time seeing them.
Sure. So for a little bit of context for those of you who haven't heard of these before or weren't around in 1999, because that's a thing nowadays. I got to keep reminding myself that I'm actually old. The tone poems were these little 30-second TV spot commercials promoting the Phantom Menace, and each one had a like character-centric poem being read by that actor. They're very tasteful and very cool, and I wish that this had caught on and we had gotten tone poems like this for the rest of the releases. But check out a few of these. This first one is, we'll start with the Darth Maul one, right? Here we go. Sorry, say it again. I cut you off.
Iconic.
There it is. Iconic.
Fear attracts the fearful, the strong, the weak, the innocent, the corrupt. Fear is my ally.
Parental guidance suggested. Parental guidance.
Though, right? Like, the editing is fantastic on these things. Like, they're really well cut together, especially like looking back 25 years later when you're so familiar with that footage and you can see exactly where the editor draws each shot from. Like, you really do get a new level of appreciation for these. And I thought they were cool when I was a kid when they came out. But like, that was not Ray Park. That was Peter Serafinowicz who voiced Ray Park's voice lines in the movie, of which there were 2.
I feel you on Maul's first attack in the desert. Bro, everything about Maul was so generationally just like impactful, and like there was just so much glory and like gasps that he put out when we first got to see him in his holographic form.
At last, we reveal ourselves to the Jedi.
Like even that was crazy because if we saw Coruscant before we even really knew what Coruscant was. That was our first time getting to see it, which was dope, and it was at nighttime. And then with Maul, we get to see the desert fight, and then we get to see him during the whole, fight on Theed. Like, he's just such. Even his death, unfortunately, was very untimely. But by the will of the Force, by the power of hatred and fan we resurrected that motherfucker.
I'm not even going to go on my rant about how that's an accepted explanation for how he returned, but Palpatine somehow returning is like this huge trigger for people. It's like, you're telling me Maul just like got angry, plugged his hole with some trash on the garbage planet, and just like survived, and you're satisfied with that? Like that's compelling to you, but somehow the ancient master of the with like, he's got Tenebrous inside him, bro. He's got all of the Valkorian. They're all in there. He's all of the, and you won't accept that he somehow returned. Like, sorry, I said I wouldn't rant, but here we go.
I see. Man is literally too angry to die. He
canon.
Is though.
That's canon.
That's his Shakespearean character type, and he doesn't give a fuck about anyone. He's purely in it to win it for himself. And then until the brief moment where Kenobi cuts him down in the the twin sons fight, and he kind of like, I don't know, snaps out of his tunnel vision. He's like, fuck, man, I've been a tool my entire life. I'm sorry that I kind of been fucking with you. Like, make sure that our shit gets avenged. Like, which is so real. Just so real.
Yeah, honestly, I really did not expect the way his ending would come, like in Rebels, and it was better than I thought. Because in my head I had this whole elaborate fight, but no, they did it Akira Kurosawa style, and I will always respect it. Yeah, so that was the Darth Maul one, and they did a bunch of them for other characters. And for those of you who haven't seen him, this is actually kind of a treat because you can tell that these tone poems were recorded early on in the process, and a lot of these characters don't necessarily have. Like the actors fully dialed in yet. Peter Serafinowicz is a special case because he really only had to come in and roll up those 2 lines. So that was pretty much dialed in. But check out Liam Neeson's read of this Qui-Gon tone poem, for example.
It will be a hard life, one without reward, without remorse, without regret. A path will be placed before you. The choice is yours alone. Do what you think you cannot do. It will be a hard life, but you will find out who you are.
That one's good. That one is powerful to me. But like
fucking Qui-Gon, man. Fucking Qui-Gon is the master amongst masters, bro. Like everything, like everything about
everyone needs a Qui-Gon in their life.
Man, everything would have been different if he was the master that we got instead of Kenobi. Or like, yeah, dude, he's like that father figure that those of us with no dads like wish we had, for sure.
Yeah, I mean wow. I mean it's like, brilliant, and
and then with Qui-Gon though, it kind of, especially now since we got to see more of Fortress Inquisitorius in Tales of the Empire, which we will get to, chat. We will be
talking about that, but don't worry. Before we start, we will go like this. If you haven't, you'll know when to bail. But it's not right now. We're not getting to that yet. But just don't worry. We're not going to spoil things before you have a chance to bail.
But dude, with Qui-Gon though, like it still continues to burn the question of like, if he were alive, like, would he be a separatist? Would he have like separated from the Order existentially, or
I just don't know.
Or do you think he still would have just stayed with the Council, but at the same time just slap Mace Windu in the face and be like, "Bro, we're not part of the Republic. We're just people."
See, or like, he was a maverick. He didn't align himself with the Jedi Council. Like that was a routine thing that happened. And he had an immense amount of respect for Dooku, his master. And I really feel like it's possible that Qui-Gon would have taken a side and that he would have joined Dooku at least initially, and then maybe come to a realization and walked away from it all, and been like, no, this is too heavy for me, man. But I do think he would have at least given Dooku a fair shake and actually listens to him and weighed out what his proposal was, versus Obi-Wan, who like abjectly is just like, no, that's not true. Jedi wouldn't lie to me. You're full of shit. I'm not going to listen. Qui-Gon would have been like, tell me more. Maybe there is a corruption problem in the Jedi. Maybe you're on to like. He was so open-minded and so not just like confined by the rigor and the dogma of the Jedi that like maybe he would have gone with Dooku. Like, and
it was a couple of years after Aurra Singh killed his love interest, of which he was already having to like fight the internal battles of like, I had feelings for this other Jedi coworker, and like we grew up together, and like I really loved her, but we're not allowed to love because fucking dogma, and this feels wrong. But at the same time, like fucking bounty hunters, so it's like.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then episode 1 happens. So it's like he didn't get a lot of.
He never had a chance to.
Internal buffer time. Yeah. Exactly. And then the Council was like, hey, you need to pick a Padawan. And he was like, all right, come on, little Obi.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, that one. I'll take that one right there. The one with the little ponytail.
Yeah.
Star Wars needs to make a what if series. Well, boy, do I have some good news for you. We have a trailer we're going to watch a little later. Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. And
it's as close as we're going to get.
It's as close as we're going to get. And honestly, it's the safest way to do it, right? We're going to rebuild the galaxy brick by brick. And it's basically just a reimagining of everything. I can't wait to see what kind of off the wall scenarios they include in that, honestly. But yeah, exactly. It's basically a what if with Lego.
So in closing with Qui-Gon and then semi tying into Tales of the Empire, what's really beautiful with Qui-Gon is just, and a lot of the different characters within the Jedi Council themselves and the villains, even with Maul, all of them are so within their own Shakespearean character archetype. You know, like Plo Koon is the pinnacle of what a knight, should be. And then Obi-Wan is like, this is what I am as a Jedi. Like, this is going to be like, we're here to serve the Republic, sort of a deal. But like Qui-Gon was more of like the critical thinker and like more so of like, there's more beyond this universe sort of a deal.
He was a maverick, and they acknowledge it straight up in the Phantom Menace. Like you would have a seat on the council by now, Master, if you just like played the game. And he's not interested. He's only interested in doing what the Jedi are actually supposed to do. And that, yes, it kind of like tarnishes his career of advancement within the Jedi Order, but it also elevates him and makes him the pinnacle of what a Jedi should strive to be at the same time. Because you don't do it for power. That's the opposite of what the Jedi are about, Attaining these positions shouldn't be something that you like are seeking after to the point that it alters your decision making. Jedi aren't supposed to be making a career for themselves. They're just serving the Force, serving the people, and that was Qui-Gon through and through. He didn't care about the politics. That was meaningless and insignificant to him. It was just about the will of the Force, how to interpret it, and how to enact that to better people.
Yeah. Whereas Mace Windu is kind of just like a cop and a police officer and making sure that people just follow by the code within its own rankings and order.
Just like the enforcement branch of a
religion. Yeah, and then Luminara
never ends well.
Like the philosophical, the religious nihilist in a way, I suppose. But like all of them serve their own individual purpose, and then kind of tying into Tales of the Empire, like each villain has like their own specific like Shakespearean archetype. Like Maul didn't give a shit about anyone. Like he was villain through and through, and just was willing to use and abuse anyone within his way to get what he needed. And he was okay.
Yeah, he was a very like Machiavellian character.
Completely okay with that. And then what we got to see with Morgan Elsmith though, when we get to the Empire, like her story, just like, because you put it so beautifully at the end of our reaction when we were watching, and then so I'll get back to that when we get to that segment of the show. But do you have anything else to say about Qui-Gon and his gloriousness?
I mean, just that we were robbed of more Qui-Gon, and like, I just think about the parable that Dave Filoni laid out in that featurette from The Mandalorian, talking about the duel of the fates and its meaning of like these two fates are dueling for the the future of Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one, and one of those fates in play was Qui-Gon. That's one of the possible futures, and how everything would have been different if he'd known. The nurturing style that Qui-Gon would have been able to give him, and that critical thinking that would have allowed him to resist the Emperor's seduction.
Yeah.
Most important.
I saw someone, I can't find the comment at the moment, but I saw someone ask earlier if Qui-Gon or if Palpatine was threatened by Qui-Gon. I mean, only by influence. I mean, obviously their power levels were increasingly different. Like 1v1, do I think Qui-Gon would have taken on Palpatine? Not a chance.
I don't think he was afraid of him in like a martial kind of way, but I think he might have been afraid of him in that like this guy's not susceptible to most of my tricks.
Yeah,
I think he may have been a little intimidated by the fact that Qui-Gon is seeing through things that are clouding the other Jedi.
And he would have been the biggest. Like Palpatine would have needed to kill Qui-Gon one way or another if he wanted to get to Anakin. That's bottom line. So yes. I don't think Palpatine but if Palpatine did it himself, that would have been way too direct. He would have given it would have given Anakin too much fuel to his fire to like want revenge on Palpatine. He would have needed.
He could have used that.
A third party. Palpatine would have needed a third or even a fourth party to take out Qui-Gon, so that he could have been like, "Oh, Anakin, I'll adopt you." Like he needed. He couldn't have done that directly though.
No. He needs to beat around the bush. That's kind of how his style is most powerful. So this next one, I don't know. This next one's fun. Check it out.
What if dreams came true, and you could be who you wanted to be? You could do what you wanted to do, and you could help who you wanted to help. What if dreams came true, and the world opened up, and you were never, ever afraid? What if dreams came true? But dreams do come true, don't they?
Ooh, that little musical tease at the end there. Nah, nah,
Yeah,
nah. That was cool. Yeah.
I feel really bad. I feel really horrible because one, I love Jake Lloyd. Like shout out,
I feel
shout out to that guy for how much shit he's been put through.
According to that recent interview, he's doing quite well. He's actually doing pretty well, and he still enjoys Star Wars, so that's very
like
nice.
Two, it's like great to hear his voice. Three, unfortunately, that entire time he was like, "Have you ever had a dream?" The entire
no, not that. Oh God!
Have
you ever had a dream that
do anything?
you want them to do so much? You do anything?
Yeah, I couldn't. I was like, "Oh my God, you sweet little summer child, just spit it out. Just spit it out already." Yeah, but no, I
love the smile at the end of that video. Like the kid thinks he absolutely nailed the question. That's my favorite part by far. He's like,
yeah, like the greatest actor.
Yeah, it was an absolutely horrendous what treatment Jake Lloyd suffered at the hands of Star Wars fans, and I will not stand for any of this revisionist history of people trying to say that. Oh, it wasn't the Star Wars fan community; it was like the media and the press. It's like no, it was absolutely the fandom community.
Well, from what I heard,
the fandom,
I was going to say, from my understanding,
we aren't. Well, not you and me. We weren't there doing that, but like the fans were responsible in part for this. You know?
From my understanding, a lot of the fan hatred and fan teasing affected Ahmed Best. A lot of the stuff that was affecting Jake Lloyd was stuff at his school and like things that were happening every day around him. It wasn't necessarily the fan community in that sense, but it was kids in his school making fun of him. And like,
I mean, yeah, but what do you think the kids in the school are making fun of him with? The reviews from online, the posts from the forums, all of like the nasty things being said about his acting on the message boards. That's the ammunition that's being used to bully him.
No, before that, it was emulating lightsaber sounds. It was emulating the script because none of that stuff existed yet. None of online forums, none of that shit existed yet. When
in 1999, they absolutely did. They absolutely did.
Yeah, but not. I don't know. Not to the extent of now, though. Not to the extent that he would have had access to. From what I was understanding, from what I've like heard from like interviews from his parents, is that it was regular, everyday, like schoolyard shit. Well,
the point that I'm making is that there's a lot of people out there trying to act like they never made comments about the terrible little kid acting in The Phantom Menace, trying to just sweep that whole chapter of ugly fandom under the rug, and it absolutely contributed to his mental state. And you can't really dismiss it and say, oh well, it's just schoolyard stuff. It's like, well, no, it was encouraged and it was a running joke and it was participated by on a wide scale, and that it would be supremely damaging to anyone's mental health. And I'm just very happy to hear that he is doing well these days. Like honestly, yeah, poor Jake. And it sucks that like it's such a shadow over his performance that now we can't even watch like this tone poem, for example. Like his mistreatment immediately comes up. It's like so closely tied to his characterization as Anakin in this film that like it's hard to have an earnest conversation about his performance and the merit therein without having to get sidetracked and talk about like the terrible things that happened to him. And that's just like another level of tragedy on top of what happened, is that like it's kind of like marked that part of the film that like we always have to have this interlude about how terrible this was. And it sucks. It's just bad all around. I feel very bad for Jake Lloyd. This next one is this next one's a little bit more lighthearted and it's a lot shorter too. Check this out.
Sometimes the one who's clumsy, different, or even a little strange just might be the friend you're looking for.
I find it racist that they couldn't use. Why couldn't Jar Jar say his own poem? That's prejudice.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, every other actor got to do their own.
Everyone got to say their own shit except the alien.
We've got a lady here who sounds like a GPS.
Yeah,
This one. You're right. That is kind of a departure. I hadn't really as a kid, I didn't notice that sort of stuff. But then again, I was watching these before I'd even seen the movie, so I didn't really immediately know what Jar Jar's voice was going to sound like. Yeah, or his voice was so different.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely a Sith Lord, 100%.
Jar Jar's definitely getting his day right now, and I'm all for it. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that Lego stuff in just a minute. We have one more tone poem. This one is this one's actually very poignant, and it's because it's narrated by Pernilla August, who plays Schmi.
Maybe that is Jar Jar's voice. That's his internal voice. Yeah, that's his. That's
you
what
think that's how you think that's how Jar Jar hears himself?
That's his internal monologue. Yeah.
He's putting on a voice to hang out with the Jedi because he thinks they'll think it's cooler, but really when he goes home, he sounds like this.
Sometimes the one who's clumsy, different, or even a little strange just might be the friend you're looking for.
I identify with that one quite a bit as the friend who's a little clumsy and strange. We deserve love too.
It's true.
Say that. But as for this last tone poem, it's this one's narrated by Pernilla August, who plays Schmi Skywalker, and she is such a good actress. She did not get nearly enough dialogue in The Phantom Menace, so this is just like a nice little opportunity to hear her talk some more. But here it is.
Don't look back before you go. Eyes forward. Choices to make. Dreams to realize. Don't look back before you go. Know the truth. Learn to let go. Don't look back before you go. Before you leave me.
That one's heavy. That one's rough, man.
Man. Everyone always asks the question, would Qui-Gon have gone back to save Shmi? One, I don't think that was ever part of his story arc. Two, I don't think the necessarily forced love story between the two of them really needed to be enforced. Like the surrogate parent.
Okay, I don't know if that necessarily makes it a love story though. It could just be him doing a solid to
exactly,
Anakin, and keeping his promise.
No. But I mean, there's a lot of people online who have always tried to push the romance idea.
Oh, specifically,
they should have stayed together and been Anakin's parents, sort of thing. And it's
what?
or Qui-Gon already had his love, and his love died. That's why
Qui-Gon's just gonna settle down on Mos Espa of all places.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same as Mando season 1 when that one farm girl was like, why don't you just take your helmet off and live the rest of your life with me? And he's I have other adventures to do. He's
like, I would, but the show's not done yet. We got to.
Yeah, I would, but other things.
I mean, I don't know. Some would say that makes him a fool.
But she was
handled that railby.
She was a fantastic just character within herself. She was kind of one of those characters like Balon Skull, where all of her there was never a line that she had that could have been seen or called filler space. You know what I mean? Everything that she
just
said,
to pad out a scene, yeah.
Yeah, everything she said was even when she was counting the money that Anakin got for selling the pod racer, and she's like, "Oh, that's wonderful, Annie." Even the most simple things had weight to it. You already could tell by the look on her face that her and Qui-Gon already had that preemptive conversation of hey, I'm going to save your kid. That's I'm going to take your kid out.
Yeah, it wasn't even a conversation. It was eye contact, and they both knew. He's like, she'll do anything for this kid. He's here to save the kid. She's going to support letting the kid go because that means he can have a better life. Because when you have nothing, but you have a child, that child is now everything, sacrifice anything so that they can get out of the situation. They're literal slaves. If he can take her away from that, she will gladly have him take his chances in the galaxy, because otherwise he will live and die as a slave. And
Not
that's
to mention the whole like
non-starter.
immaculate conception thing.
Yes. Well, whew, that's a whole that's an entire podcast worth of discussion, and we will save that for another time.
Yeah. But was Schmi a great mom? Yes. Was I really kind of like confused and hurt as a child the first time I see it? Because like, why would? Because I was like,
you were hurt that she let him go. Is that what you're saying?
No, I thought it was mean. The way that my little kid brain interpreted that scene at first was like, I don't know. I didn't quite understand the like, don't come back. Like, I don't want you to come back. Like, I think it was that sentence. I don't like misinterpreting the I don't want you to come back sort of a thing, because it was misunderstanding. Like, it's not that I don't want you to come back. It's that there's nothing about this situation that you need to come back to.
Right.
There's nothing about this desert dipshit place that you really need to come back to. Like, there's so much other shit. Oh, so many better things like ahead of you. Like,
I mean, it's crazy what we hear when we're kids and like how we interpret things. Because like rewatching, you feel totally see it differently as an adult. But like, there's always little things like that like either go over your head or you think you catch it, but like you're reading the opposite of like of the writing's intention sometimes. Because I think it was the opposite of that. Like, I think she is just trying to give her kid a better life, and she knows it'll be harder for him if he looks back, if he tries to come back.
Yeah, even on those summer vacations,
clean break.
Mm-hmm. He needs to focus on, he needs to like fully focus on what he's doing. Can't half-ass
it. That's canon. That's what Bendu thought when he was a kid. He was like, "Oh, that's Schmi. Can't believe she'd do that."
Yeah. Why would my mom give me away like that? Like, but at the same time, like again, like Anakin was one of the older children. I feel like less there might. I don't know. I'd be curious to see the demographic of like older to younger Padawans and like their separation from family ages to like what their
how that affects their development.
Yeah.
What
are their future traumas?
Well, we know it's like verboten. You can't have your parents like hanging out with you while you're learning to be a Jedi. But what if Schmi had been part of Anakin's life during his early training?
Because at the same time,
could he have been like had more of a strong foundation? Could he have resisted Palpatine's like advances if he'd known his mother's love and he didn't have that awful trauma of losing her the way he did?
Because he could have saved her a lot sooner theoretically. Because if he had more regular like notes to home, there would have been a clear communication. Like, oh, by the way, I got married. Oh, by the way, here's my new address, and then be like, hey, stepson, fucking sand people. Like, on my way, like like it definitely
from Kleeglars, sand people.
Yeah,
I got some bad news for you, son.
I got some bad news. Like, I'm
missing a leg, and they took my wife.
Yeah, like come to the homestead. Like it would have been different.
And then it's got his little email signature. Tongs days, am I right?
Yeah, like it would have been completely different. But again, Jedi aren't allowed attachments, right?
Exactly. So, because we can't have them helping too many people. We can't have them helping their own family members. That would be favoritism.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, though. You'll get distracted. You don't have your head in the game. Jedi are often doing very dangerous things, and if they're conflicted, I mean, the Jedi Order is terrified of anyone turning to the dark side. They always have been. It shows just like what a deep slash in their like cultural memory the Sith left when they went extinct. That they're still this terrified of the dark side.
Because like at the same time, I'm like now even irrationally and hilariously thinking about like it's not like anyone in the Star Wars. It's not like there's supervillains and superheroes within the Marvel universe. It's not like you can just like look up a registry of all the Jedi and be like, all right, where do their moms live? We're gonna kidnap all their moms and
no, for sure. You need to have that like the operational security element of it is solid. Like they're making enemies in the places that they go. Even though they're there to be peacekeepers, like someone's getting screwed out of every deal that they authorize. So or like oversee like the diplomacy of. So I mean, for that reason, you don't want them to come after the families, but it takes a lot of resources to track someone down across the galaxy. And we know that there were registries of like the force sensitive babies being born, and we don't know really how much metadata is in that. Maybe it does tell you the chain codes of the parents or something like that.
Right? Like if you could find out if there was a more regularly force sensitive like planet or something, like
Right.
there's no reason for you to like genocide, either A, genocide the planet, B, blow it up, or C, just like, completely try to manipulate it and, make that your own private army planet.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah, no, there's like hindsight's 2020 though, right?
Yeah.
Part of what moves the plot forward is these characters don't always know exactly what the right thing to do is going to be. And I feel like even with, like, for example, if Anakin had his mother in his life, would that element have like made him, he might have gone down the exact same path and made the exact same decisions. Who's to say? Like, that's the thing. It's all speculation.
Right? Emotion is emotion at the end of the day. So
and he had extreme passion in him, and that can always be manipulated and like tweaked by a clever Sith, as always seems to happen. So introducing a brand new thing that we're going to start doing every week on the podcast here. A special spotlight will be cast on a specific Gonk every week. These are not Gonks from Star Wars. These are Gonks that actually exist out here in the world, made by fans just like us. And kicking it off with our very first Gonk of the week, I give you the Gonk Cube. This ingenious little guy right here was built by Joseph DiLeonardo. It's a 3D printed chassis just for like the legs and the holder, and it's fully functional. And I think it's safe to say that we've got, a pretty specialty program in this. This Gonk can do things that other Gonks can't do. Can run certain programs, certain cartridge-based technology.
God, it's so cute.
The Nintendo Gonk, yes.
The Nintendo Gonk. God, now you can go back and play Crazy Taxi, or
oh God, yes.
go back and play Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes.
Oh my God, right? I'd play Jedi Academy on the Gonk Cube.
Could you? I mean, they would have to.
I'm not sure if you could play Jedi Academy. You could play the Episode 1 Racer, though.
You could
definitely play the Jedi Starfighter game. I think that was like GameCube specific.
That's true, because Pod Racer was 60 for Nintendo 64, but I don't know if they ever like updated it or made a new one that you could do for the Cube. But God, Gonk Cube, it's so adorable.
It's an ingenious design, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure you could print those legs at various sizes too, and like if you had
one for your Xbox,
maybe, or like if you had an old like tube TV or like a really heavy computer monitor, maybe.
Rogue Squadron would be good.
Yeah.
You're right. Jedi Academy was a GameCube game, so you totally could. I mean, like, honestly, now that I'm realizing that this is a thing I could do, why not just put Gonk feet on every appliance in the house? Got a Gonk microwave, got a Gonk toaster.
Structural integrity, potentially.
Just make them strong. And then once you motorize them and they waddle around the place, now we're talking. Yeah, you think it's good now. Just wait. I've got some crazy Gonks out there made by very, very talented individuals that are deserving of spotlights, and we're going to be getting to a different one every week, and it's all up from here. As impressive as this one is, you just wait till you see next week's Gonk, man.
The popularity of the Gonk droid is spectacularly increasing.
Yes, Gonk washing machine.
It's too heavy.
No, because when the load's uneven and it starts like shaking around, it just waddles on its little feet. It just does little tippy taps.
Oh my God, that's fucking adorable.
It would be great. Man. And when the laundry's done, instead of a ding, it's like gonk.
Gonk.
Yeah, no, that's the winning idea right there.
Oh man,
that's the winning idea.
Actually, you could put an air fryer. You could make them big enough for an air fryer.
Holy shit, Gonk air fryer. Now we're talking.
Because those are square and cubish generally.
Yeah. Why did I read your tweet like Malgus' master in that SWTOR cinematic? Was like, this is just the beginning. That is the level of intensity that I want you to bring to the Gonk of the week, though. I like where your head's at. I like the passion. Bring more of that passion for us here.
Are Gonk droids technically Glup Shido? No, because they're
Gonk Shido, aren't they?
Because they're an established like character and droid like
they're far too commonplace.
They're manufactured. Yeah. They're a manufactured unit of which
I would not
regularly.
I would not even call a Gonk droid an obscure droid. The thing about Glup Shitos is they have to be super obscure. They're like a really niche thing that only like the hardcores even know what it is. But like casuals know what Gonk droids are. They're in every single Star Wars thing ever. That alone kind of disqualifies them from Glup Shito status, in my opinion, because they're supposed to be like a rare thing. Like it's rare if you don't see a Gonk droid in a Star Wars thing, honestly.
It's true. Like if you were, I think a Glup Shito also needs to be a living organism. Like if you were, we will ponder this of what the droid term for a Glup Shito would be.
I do disagree because I think that ships can be Glup Shitos.
This Glup Shito of a ship, like the pirate ship, like salad.
Think about it this way: you see a biological character, and you're like, "Oh my god, Glup Shito's back!" Right? But if you see a ship that you're like, "Oh my god, the Glup Shito is back!" Like the Razor Crest. That ship is the Glup Shito. Like, because there's totally like random little fighter craft, like whatever a Z95 headhunter shows up, I get so excited. That's a Glup Shito of a fighter right there.
Yeah, you could say that's a Glup Shito of a fighter, but you wouldn't call it the Glup Shito because then
Glub Shippo.
Yeah, it's like if there were a droid that you could like designate as a Glup Shito droid, it would be like the torture droid in Jabba's palace, a very specific one-time thing that you would see of like, damn, there's a specific droid purely built to torture other droids. That's a Glup Shito of a character, kind of a thing.
Like, yes, Ouija from Dork Forces. I can. This happens to me all the time, man. I can't say Dark Forces anymore. I can't do it because I've said Dork Forces so many times. My tongue just won't.
Oh, see, I have to.
But Ouija from Dark Forces 2 is absolutely a Glup Shito of a droid. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Yeah. So is 8D88. Haven't seen him since. You know what I mean? But that's the Gonk of the week. It was made by Joseph DeLeonardo, and I can't wait to see what.
Or another random droid, random droid Glup Shito who is a creepy looking motherfucker.
Who you got?
Was the lanky legged, lanky armed fairy?
The gondola droid. Yeah. He's all down there. He's like 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. That's more.
Even the Gonk droid that was like, what was it? Was it a time clock? It was a clock out droid. Like even
in Kenobi, they had a Gonk with like you punch in and out.
Like it was still a Gonk. It wasn't quite a Glup Shito, but it was a Gonk with a job, and that's what made it fucking adorable, like doubly adorable. Because not only was it a battery, it had its own secondary app.
It's like that. It's like dogs with jobs. You have Gonks with jobs.
Yeah, it's like the irony. It's like the irony of putting a fucking drink tray on an astromech. Like you have this Swiss Army knife of R2-D2 who has jetpacks, and then Jabba's like, serve drinks. Like it's just like this is the most underutilized thing I could ever do. But R2 enjoys serving drinks. Like he was quite enjoying himself just rolling around in a circle, like looking at shit.
I mean, think about it though. Like, how demoralizing must it be? You have no arms. Your legs are like 6 inches long. Your body is a trash can. And now you've got a 9-to-5 on top of all this. Like, you can't just waddle away and die. You got to go to work every day.
Yeah, but if you wanted to, a taser comes out of your ear and you can just shock someone in the balls.
You don't even get to clock in. People clock in with you.
Oh, the Gonk. That's fair. Yeah.
Your whole job is to stand there and let other people come and go from work.
You just watch. You're a supervisor. You're a supervisor Gonk.
Yeah, he's running the place. That's what I choose to believe. He's actually the one making sure the whole operation keeps going.
Yeah, that Gonk is motivated. Okay.
Invaluable.
Yeah. That's how it processes and chews its time. Of like, I am here. Yeah. Bendu needs to do more Jabba impressions. That was awesome. Well, I didn't do the Jabba impression. That was Katarn. What are you talking about?
That was you. That was all you. It was all you, buddy.
Of what? When I said go serve drinks? Like,
yeah, you were doing it as Jabba.
That's fair.
The Gonk is going places.
Yeah.
Very slowly, but he's going places. He'll get there sometime.
When he gets there.
Speaking of Jabba, one thing that I picked up when I was in the park last week for Dork for the Dork Forces Park Forces meetup, which was awesome. by the way, was the
I
limited.
know. I wish I could have been there this year. Shout out to everyone who did show up.
Yeah,
it
was
all
so
looked
much fun.
amazing. I did hear that it was the park was quite populated for Star Wars.
Dude, it was packed on May 4th, the Star Wars Day at Galaxy's Edge. It sounds like a great idea on paper, but let me tell you, man, like plan to wait in a lot of lines, bring some water, you know. I don't do well in direct sunlight, so thankfully there was some shade and it was a little overcast, but like I had a great time, but man was it busy. Like
but the park after dark though, that was a lot.
Star Wars night was great. Yeah, Star Wars night was really fun. It was very chill. It was also pretty crowded, but like everyone was very like in a good mood and like the lighting was really cool there.
I saw a lot of cosplayer photos and a lot of just like overall.
Yeah, normally they don't let people in like full cosplay, but they like really seem to like relax the standards and just like let especially people that weren't like characters from the park too. Like we had all these people like in cosplays that wouldn't be mistaken for because they don't have a Rex at the park, for example, you know. So that was really cool. But one collectible that I picked up while I was there was the Jabba popcorn bucket. Look at this beautiful thing right here.
Fucking win. He's so chunky. He's so perfect.
Yeah, he is. I'm gonna put things in here. And he also comes with a little Salacious B crumb dangling on the lanyard.
My God, that's incredible.
Best part.
He farts when you close the mouth. Oh my God.
Oh my God, he's still going. Okay. Thank you, Jabba. So we went on a bunch of rides while we were at the park.
That was amazing.
Yeah. We went on a bunch of rides. I got some photos here. So here's the group that went through the park with us in the 4th. Yeah, no, it was really cool. There was like little photo ops set up all over the place. It was all Star Wars'd out. We had a really good time. And we also went to Scum and Villainy Cantina. Had a good group going here. A bunch of these fine folks are actually in the chat right now. So what's up, guys? It was so great seeing you all over this last week. But while we were on the rides, one of the funny things that happened is whenever there was a moment of quiet, like you could see Hera right there in the picture. She's holding the Jabba bucket. Whenever there was like a quiet moment when no one was talking on the ride, she would just be like every single time. It was so good. Absolutely killed the mood. It was fantastic.
That's incredible.
But we had a really good time. We had a really, really good time. Can't wait to do it up again. And I can officially announce that I was able to secure tickets to Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025. Wow. It is happening. You heard it here first. Confirmed. Well, actually, you probably heard it on Twitter first, where I had an absolute meltdown in real time while I tried to get tickets. Dude, that was a process. Okay, so tickets went live at exactly 4 p.m.
How much were they?
So a 3-day pass was supposed to be like $168, right? So that was my goal, was like get into the queue, get a 3-day pass, and I'm golden. It was like 4 o'clock and like 13 seconds when I joined the queue. I waited over an hour and 27 minutes. By the time I got in, I found out that 3-day passes were sold out within like 15 minutes of joining the queue. So I was
wow,
that sucks. But I'm still going to join just to see what happens. And then I got an error message after an hour and 27 minutes saying bad connection, timeout, like click here to restart the queue. And man, I almost threw my phone across the room, but I recovered. I trusted in the Force. I refreshed the page, got in, and I was able to buy 3 single days. So, just as good as a 3-day pass. It was actually a little bit cheaper. So I ended up saving a little bit of money on it, but now I've got my tickets. I'm going. It's happening. I've willed it into existence. And for everyone else that's going to be at Star Wars Celebration Japan, I will see you there. I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic.
That's amazing.
I'm going to Japan.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. I'm so stoked.
I definitely have to. I can only wait until they're back in the U.S. I certainly cannot afford to go into any sort of out of country.
I think that, dude, it's expensive and it's a long way away. Like I totally get it. It's way further than I would prefer to be traveling, but honestly, worth it to go see Japan. and super worth it for everybody that lives in that part of the world that would otherwise be traveling to the mainland US every single
That's
year.
true.
That's a huge commitment too. So I'm really happy that they get a chance to have a local, or semi-local, if you're like a couple countries away, that's really cool. And I'm glad that it was London last year too, because that means Europe's getting it, Asia's getting it, and then hopefully it's going to go back to the mainland US. And my guess would be Orlando. I'm thinking Florida is going to be 2026.
That was where like they originally kind of started. So
I think the first one was Chicago.
Oh, so, well, yeah.
And you know what? It's actually the 25th anniversary of Celebration as well, because it was 1999. That was the first Celebration in Chicago. Oh my God. Yeah. Celebration Dubai will be announced for 2026.
Jesus.
Man, I'm going to do a lot of traveling, aren't I?
I mean, you're what's it called?
I don't know if it counts, but I'm like 75% through the Dungeon Meshi theme song.
Start learning Japanese now.
Well, and then
the original one. The original one.
Yeah, then they changed it. So now I'm back to square one. Now I don't know any of the new ones. So like,
yeah.
But man, I was like belting that thing while I was watching the reactions.
Shit. I'm still like, I think 1 or 2 episodes.
Oh my God. Castaway.
Like Castaway, exactly.
Okay, Denver, Colorado was the first one. Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you about to say?
Yeah. I don't remember. I was still ranting on how of how the first theme song for Delicious and Dungeon was so good, and then now it's just fucking lame.
Well, I think the new one is also Sleepwalking Orchestra, isn't it? It's the same group.
It's just not as good of a song. It's not as hype.
I don't know, man. The first song just connected with me.
It's so hype. It hypes you up. Yeah.
Well, because like changing the song is one thing, but they changed the intro art, and I loved the intro art of the first one. So
that's fair. Yeah, the new one is just all dream sequence.
Damn. 3-hour line. Yeah, see, mine wasn't quite that bad. I did
see someone way up top.
Yeah, he sold out within 2 minutes and 3 days was gone within 20 minutes. Yep, that was my experience too. And I slowly lost hope, but then I got in and got my singles. I called it a win, but like for a minute there, it got rough. And thank you, by the way, to everybody that reached out, like while I was tweeting about this, like offering to try and pick me up a ticket because they were also waiting in the queues. Like, you guys are the real ones. I really appreciate that. I was able to finally get one, but like really touched that people were willing to like try and do that for me in the first place, honestly.
Yeah, no, this community has been absolutely fantastic. And the encouragement really is just like,
yeah, so much support, so much love in this fandom community. And I know that it has its hiccups and it has bumpy rides sometimes. And like sometimes the discourse can be exhausting, but like at its heart, real nice people that care about Star Wars and more often than not care about each other too. And you love to see it. Like you really do. I feel it very frequently when I'm having interactions with people online. A lot of positivity out there. And it can be just as loud as the negativity, you know. I don't see why I can't just drown it out. Next year in 2025 is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, and the 10-year anniversary of The Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed. Why am I just like, I just can't read acronyms right now.
That's okay.
Return of the Sith. Oh my God. And the Force actualizes.
Force actualizes, yeah.
My 2 favorite movies. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. The passion is our common ground. No matter what your opinion is about any specific fact, you know, anything about Star Wars, it doesn't really matter. It just matters that we all have an opinion about Star Wars. We care enough to have that opinion in the first place. So we got a little bit of news to talk about in here as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're running kind of coming up on the last few segments here, but yeah, before.
Yes, we are. I didn't realize that was a thing, but now we're doing it for sure.
You got I feel like aren't they taking it down soon? Like you guys have to. Yeah, I read on a Google article that they're starting to. It's coming to a close.
Huh.
So you have to.
I don't see what. I mean, they can't.
Their last visit sooner than later.
Yeah, that's what Bendu's saying. If they close it down, isn't that going to leave that area defenseless?
I know, right?
Like, what's it being replaced with? It's in Yokohama. Okay, well, the con is in Shiba, and I don't know anything about Japan's geography, so I don't know if that's close by or not. They're removing it. Man, I'm telling you, you're leaving yourself open to attack. Why would you do that? Yeah, who the hell is going to protect them now if the Gundam's being moved? I don't know about all that.
Maybe
Best
they're
advice
just
I ever
following
got:
signals.
you don't have to like every exact thing as someone else to be friends. We can disagree and still hang out. Yeah, absolutely. You don't have to align on every single opinion to be able to have really good friends. Like, I've got a lot of friends that I don't see eye to eye on several things. I mean, to that end, there's definitely a limit to that. And I think that if someone is going to, like, for example, advocate for the destruction of another kind of people, no, we can't be friends. Like, it doesn't matter what else we have in common. Like, there's certain red line issues that, like, no. If we don't see eye to eye on this, then we don't have a relationship. And I think that's very fair. But 9 times out of 10, what you're saying is true. And absolutely, yes. You don't need to surround yourself with an echo chamber. And sometimes it's very healthy to hear dissenting opinions because it keeps you grounded. And sometimes you need to be forced to remind yourself of other perspectives out there too. I know, I'm bummed that they're taking it down too. I didn't even know it existed until like the beginning of this conversation. And now I'm like, save the Gundam. Like, I'm ready to start a protest about it. Damn. Okay, it's a train right away. That's not too bad. Well, hopefully it's still up by next year. Because, like, I'm sure the Gundam took like ages to build, all those complicated systems and weapons and things. So it'll probably take a long time to dismantle too. Maybe it'll still be up by the time we get there.
Man,
So,
speaking of protests, remember that one time in Andor during that funeral when that stormtrooper got hit in the face with that funeral brick? That was funny. That was great. Good times.
Man, that was so good. Funeral stone just to the face.
The fucking brick wall.
Dude, that was
These bricks in Star Wars. We're talking about controversial takes and opinions.
That whole town square was like a powder keg. And then they like kicked B2 Emo over. It's like, oh, hell no. Hell no. Yeah. Like, yeah. Shit got crazy. Yeah. Man, that was such a powerful sequence. I get chills just thinking about it. Like, honestly, so Andor was something else, man.
It's so good. It was so yeah.
No, it was so damn good.
Fucked around that day.
Oh yeah, one other cool thing that I picked up from the park that was not announced. No one said they were going to be selling this, and as far as I know, it's no longer available. It was just a May 4th exclusive.
Oh yes. Yes.
A little further away than I thought.
You say nerdy zombie, I don't have helmets.
Take a look at this. Take a look at this bad boy right here. This is the 187th Legion Clone Trooper helmet. Hasbro Black Series. Available only at the trading post on May 4th. This is Mace Windu's Clone Legion right here. He's got like teal and purple livery on him. They also had a ton of action figures of like Mace Windu with a 187th Legion commander. I'm going to do an unboxing of this later on this week, but like, it's so cool, man. I saw that and I was like, oh my God, that's not going to fit my suitcase. I'm buying it anyway. Yeah, it's super cool. So stay tuned for the unboxing video of this. It's going to be hitting later on this week. I haven't even opened it up yet. But yeah, the 187th Legion.
Surprise to press enjoyer. It's like a plum. It's an off purple. It is purple though.
Yeah, you can't like the box is laminated, and so the colors are kind of distorted in these lights and all. But when I get it out, you'll be able to see. There was one on display when I picked it up, and like it's very purple and like very light teal.
Was that Pawn's Legion? I believe so. Yeah, because that was because
Pawn's was with Windu. Yeah.
Yeah, because Pawn's Legion was they were like the spec op, or they were the reconnaissance Legion, weren't they? They were the sneaky ones.
I think they had a recon unit, but the whole division was just like a clone legion.
Gosh, yeah, I thought Pawns had the ARC troopers.
They also had a brand new Black Series Vader helmet, which I have the original Black Series Vader, but they had one with red tinted lenses, like Rogue One in A New Hope style. It was pretty hot. It was very hard for me. Like, it was tempting to buy it, but I was like, I don't need 2 Vaders. I can't justify that. But like, ooh, those red lenses, man.
Is a big head. It's true.
I could maybe like pop out the lenses and just get some red ones for mine, but I don't want to mod them. I don't want to do it.
You could just sell one and swap it out, but at the same like.
I could go that route. I absolutely could. But yeah, super stoked about the helmet. Can't wait to bust that thing out. So in Star Wars news, in a recent interview, Gina Carano said that she would be willing to return to Star Wars and has no animosity toward Disney. What do you think?
Nobody fucking asked her. Nobody fucking cared. Nobody asked.
Oh man. So do you think the lawsuit's going well, or
you think she's getting money, or
is it what's going on there? Yeah, she's suing Disney right now. And one of the demands in this lawsuit, because that's how this works, is that she will be forcibly reinstated in her former role, which I'm sure wouldn't lead to like an awkward set environment at all, right? I'm sure they'd be real PG for everybody in the cast. But yeah, the return of Cara Dune. I don't think it's likely.
I don't think it's
I'm happy to hear that she has no animosity towards Disney. I honestly don't think Disney has any animosity towards her either. I don't think that they think about her that much at this point. Like, she wasn't fired. Her contract simply ran its course, and they declined to renew it. You know, what are you going to do? But like, you know, regardless of my feelings about Gina Carano as an actress, like the character of Cara Dune itself, I think does have a lot of potential. Like rebel drop trooper from Alderaan trying to like find a way to restore the rule of law in the galaxy after the destruction of her homeworld. Like, that's a compelling story. Like, you could do something really cool with that character. And
they could totally give her Galaxies of Adventure episode. Like 100%.
Totally. Well, I mean, like on paper, that's an awesome character. In execution, might have left something to be desired, but like, why not continue it on paper and give us like a novel, you know, give us a comic book about her. Like, I don't know really where the likeness rights falls on this. I have to imagine that they wouldn't offer a role in one of their flagship shows to someone without also having them sign away their image rights. So I'm sure they can also, like, you know, show her likeness in a comic without her having to like have another opportunity for a lawsuit or something like that. But I personally want more Cara Dune stories. At least I want an ending or more of an arc, because like where she was going was compelling in terms of like what the story was doing with this character. Maybe we could just get, you know, an alternate portrayal or just have her feature in some other medium. But like, yeah, there's potential there, you know, and I would hate to squander it just because we can't get along with an actress. That's what I'm saying. I'm sure image rights were involved in there. This isn't like the olden days. The sisters, the twin sisters in the cantina in episode 4. One of the two actresses did not sign away her image rights at the time. And so she's one of the few people who still retains her likeness from Star Wars. And that's why you never see action figures of those two characters from the cantina. Yeah. She's one of the few who didn't do it. And now she's able to like dress up as her character and do appearances and things like that and do fan events. She doesn't have to worry about any sort of a copyright thing because she still owns the likeness.
That's cool. Fascinating.
Yeah, I learned about that when I went to the Scum and Villainy Cantina. The owner JC, he knows all kinds of awesome little fun like tidbits and factoids about the industry and about the production of these movies that I never knew about. It was really cool getting to chat with him actually. She could appear in the Filoni movie. She could also be given some exposition to explain what she's up to, you know, to explain her absence or something like that. I think that's also very possible. Was Pedro even in the suit for season 3? I wonder. He was in the suit some of the time. But I don't think, even in season 1, he wasn't in the suit all of the time. That was Brendan Wayne and Lateef Crowder, like most of the time. Because, I don't know. It's such an action-driven show. Mando spends more time fighting than he does standing around. So when he's standing around, he's Pedro. But, like, whenever he's doing, like, pretty much anything physical, it's either Brendan or Lateef.
I was going to say, Brendan's John Wayne's grandson?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, Brendan Wayne, yeah.
Really fucking cool, yeah.
Yeah, he does all the gun fighting, and then Lateef Crowder does all the hand-to-hand martial arts and stuff.
Yeah. It's cool the fact that they're able
Takes
to
a village to make a Mando.
exactly right. Same with Vader. Same with Maul. The fact that they're able to put different people, the strengths of different people together to create one iconic character is really.
And it's like an authentic move in Star Wars too, because we've been doing that since the OG with David Prowse and James Earl Jones working together to create Darth Vader. Like it's a thing. It's almost a tradition, you know. Ray Park and Sam Witwer coming together to create Maul in Solo, like the same exact thing
I
there.
mean, even with Phantom Menace, like it was him and the other
Peter
actor.
Serafinowicz. Yeah. It's always been a combined.
Like that always blows my mind too. Whenever I
Always
look
been a
at his
combined
face, I'm like, it was that guy. It was the fucking, or like I'll watch Guardians of the Galaxy and I'm
What a
just
bunch
like,
of a-holes.
fucking guy. like that. like that.
My favorite Peter Serafinowicz role is Shaun of the Dead.
Oh,
He's like the uptight roommate that
That's
lives
right.
upstairs,
Right.
and he gets bit. He's like the first one to
Fucking
get
right.
bit, like in the shower.
Yeah. Fucking yeah, it's so stupid.
He's hysterical, man. He's really funny. So also in our news here, so the art desk has created a droid design contest in honor of May the 4th. It was posted on the StarWars.com website. It's just like an opportunity for people to build their own droids and design them. Check out this video.
Behind the iconic droids, starfighters, lightsabers, and creatures of Star Wars are designers and makers. On May the 4th and every day, Autodesk celebrates these visionaries here and far, far away.
Thank the Maker.
Artists who dream of distant worlds, builders breathing life into the Force, and creators who won't take no for an answer.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
So here's to the boundless imagination of our innovators,
Acolyte.
empowered with the tools to design and make a limitless
Yeah, look at this
galaxy.
thing. It's a handheld droid from the Acolyte.
Your mind.
May the Force be with you.
This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
Join the legacy of makers. Design and make your own droid with Autodesk software. Autodesk. Make anything. The Acolyte. 2-episode premiere, June 4th, only on Disney+.
God, that's incredible. That's so fucking cool.
So this little guy, he's going to be featured in the Acolyte. It's a handheld droid that you carry around in your pocket, and then you like bust him out like a Leatherman, and he's got like little accessories and things.
Almost like Lola.
But even Lola is like free floating autonomous droid. Like this is a droid you have to carry with you. You know, this is the Pomeranian of droid companions. It's a purse dog.
It's a purse dog. Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
It's the first time that we've gotten a droid of this configuration, and so I'm very interested in this. But I'm more interested in. Let me see if I can find the screenshot here. What do you notice in this shot, Bendu? What do you notice?
Oh, you see that cell cat?
You see that? You see that fucking thing?
Cell cat? Bro.
Are we getting a cell cat from the Acolyte? Is that what this is telling us right now, dude?
Are we going to Menace? Or is it going to get mentioned? Are we going to get some Culto?
I think it's more likely that there's going to be a Cellcath Jedi walking in the background of the halls of the Jedi Academy or something like that. But like, yeah, dude, what if? What if we go to Menace? What if? I'd be happy, like honestly, just because of the time period, if someone even mentions Colto instead of Bacta. I think that would be a cool way of showing like the time period. Yeah, they're actually doing it. They're trying to remind us that like, yes, this is a brand new period of time, the High Republic, but it takes place, it's sandwiched within things that we know, that we really come to expect from these eras, and this is still authentic Star Wars, even though it's something new. And the Cellcath right here, that gives me a lot of hope that we're going to see some legacy stuff. We're going to see some legend stuff.
Yes. So seeing that Cellcath immediately just sparks like, okay, Fever Dream, HK-47. If we're gonna look at puppetry,
I mean, we got HKs in Mando.
Like if we're gonna look at puppetry, if we're gonna look at really cool fucking droids, the fact that we got what's his nuts in Ahsoka, David Tennant's droid, like Hu Yang, dude, the fact that we could like we could easily, because HK would still be alive and still kicking it. Well, maybe theoretically.
I mean, those things are built to last. Like it's been thousands of years, and they've updated the model from HK-47 to HK-87. If you're only releasing like that many generations in thousands of years, it means your product is solid. and it doesn't need to be updated very often. So I honestly, HK-47 could still be kicking it at the time of like the Rey movie that's coming out. Like, who's to say? Look how old Hu Yang is, and he can fight hand to hand still. Kind of.
Such a great, yeah. But yeah, no, that Cellcath is amazing.
Yeah, that would be sick. But yeah, I noticed that Cellcath immediately jumped out to me right there. Like, they thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. No, I'm sure they thought we would notice. That's a very deliberate placement right there. You know what I mean?
Specific. That's a very specific face. See, like to some people, that Cellcath would be a glup shitto, but it's like to the KOTOR fans, to the Old Republic fans, no.
The droid of Theseus.
We fucking know.
Yeah, he can fight hand to hand to hand to hand. He's got them all. Man, the droid, like the puppet they used for Hu Yang was so funny to me in Ahsoka. Like whenever they would like have him like in a position, it was so clear they like picked this mannequin up and like stuck him on the floor under the seats when he's like on his back doing the work. Like he looks so like placed there.
So
hilarious. And everyone just like goes with it. They're like, oh yeah, this big ass wire puppet can move. Like, don't worry about it. And then in the fight scene, it's actual like puppetry. Like it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah. What was on back left? Oh, the humanoid looking head with the circular ears.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, it could be a droid, or
could be a helmet being developed as well.
Cyborg, maybe.
You know what? It could also be a Twi'lek, and the Leku just haven't been sculpted yet because they have like the cone ears, kind of.
Oh, that could, yeah, that's true.
It could be like half a Leku, like a Leku-less Twi'lek head or something like that. Oh, further back. I mean, that one, the one further back is facing away from the camera. That's very hard to tell. I do like the little droid up there on the top shelf. We've seen that one before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Way back, all the way back here.
Oh, you're talking about way back. Like
there's a little white maquette right on the far left of the screen.
Like, of course, like
it looks like a baby, like an infant shape, like a little puffy cheeks, little baby head kind of thing.
Could just be a skull.
Enhance. We can enhance. We lack the technology for that.
Hey,
we don't
Jarvis.
We don't have the Disney budget over here.
Fucking back computer, like.
We don't have AI. We are powered by AS. All right. We have artificial stupidity. And let me tell you, it's not quite as efficient. It's just a lot cheaper to use. But yeah, my artificial stupidity system can't enhance that for you. I'm sorry. It's as magnified as it'll go, man. Yeah, but there's a lot of little tidbits, breadcrumbs like that. Like that was for Autodesk, and it's a droid contest. It was only embedded on the StarWars.com website, and that's where they hid the little secret Cellcath reveal for us. So you never know what to watch, what little thing you should just give it a look, even if it doesn't necessarily pique your interest, because you don't know what's hidden in the background of these shots in the art department. You never know what you're going to see back there.
It's a fair point.
Sometimes it's like some wild stuff. So we're pretty much at the end of our time here. I did want to watch these two trailers though. We were talking way early on in the episode here about Star Wars What If and how cool that would be. Well, try this on for size.
It's falling apart. The building blocks of the galaxy are getting mixed up. This doesn't make any sense. Worlds will change. People will change in ways we cannot possibly imagine.
Jedi Bob!
I don't love that. This is wild.
God, they're changing so many things. It's going to be great.
Ewok bounty hunters?
Ewok bounty.
Misa going to hurt you, sir. Darth Jar Jar?
I don't think Bob is supposed to be evil. I think that's just Bob being the hero for once. He's like front and center here. I kind of think that this whole thing is Bob's fault and that he's the reason the universe got torn in twain like this.
Who the fuck is Bob?
Yeah, baby. Darth Jar Jar returns, voiced by Ahmed Best. It's like this is what we've always wanted. We've successfully memed this character into existence.
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
Look at that black and red Millennium Falcon. Look how sexy that is. How did Jar Jar end up with the Falcon?
It would not be it's not a good hunting ship. Like, it's a freighter. It's not.
I mean, yeah, well, it'll make 0.5 past light speed.
Yes, so.
Look at his outfit, dude. He's like he's got like some clasps. It kind of reminds me of what Han Solo's wearing in that one New Jedi Order book cover.
That's fair, yeah.
He's got like the long leather trench coat thing, and it's all like very 2000s looking.
Misa going to hurt you, sir.
God, with the red eyes. It's perfect. It's perfect. Misa gonna hurt you, sir.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
Right, that's Hellraiser, right? That's the Hellraiser thing.
It's the Hellraiser demons, yeah.
It totally does kind of look like what those guys wear, doesn't it?
Fascinating.
I always thought they were always dressed for a rock star
at first I thought this was going to be a game, but I didn't realize that this was going to be like a show.
Yeah, it's one of their specials because they did the Terrifying Tales, they did the Life Day special. They're all like 30-40 minute episodes, just like one-offs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just long enough to not be a short, but it's not like a series or a movie or anything like that.
Fascinating.
September 13th is when it comes out. It's not far away.
That's hilarious.
I think I might have to do that. I think I might have to wear this hat for the entire reaction, and that's fine. That's fine. I will do what must be done. I will not hesitate, and I will show no mercy.
Yes. Perfect.
That hits different when you're wearing this hat. I just got to say. Dello Feligits. And finally, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Acolyte because it is coming out just like at the start of next month. That's really soon. So
we did get a snippet. I'm not sure if this next teaser that we're about to watch is the same new footage that was shown at the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, but if this is,
that's right, because there's a clip playing when you see it in theaters. There's an Acolyte clip that follows that each time.
So I don't know if this is that, but seeing this little clip just like made me super pumped for the overall story and everything for the Acolyte in general.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait for this show to come out. I love that we're getting such a fresh take, brand new era. It's only been seen on screen in animation in the Star Wars Jedi Academy thing, the Young Jedi Adventures. There's so much to dive into here, and there's so much to get excited for. And for people that haven't read any of the High Republic books, I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. I myself am someone who hasn't finished all the High Republic books. I've read everything in the first phase, but I'm very far behind story-wise still. But regardless, take a look at these trailers.
Last night, a Jedi was murdered.
The Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace. But that peace is a lie.
Jedi are being hunted.
She was my student. I trained her. Let me be the one to bring her in.
I sense this is only a small part of a larger plan. Some sort of shift to tip the scales.
It's time
to face the past. Destiny is not decided for you by an anonymous force. If you want to pull the thread and change everything, then pull it.
What are you? Close your eyes. Your eyes can deceive you. We must not trust them. Tell me what comes into your mind.
Life. Balance. I see fire.
Someone is killing Jedi. It doesn't make sense.
What happened?
I sensed darkness.
This isn't about good or bad. This is about power and who is allowed to use it.
What is that?
Fuck yes. Dude, I'm so excited for this. I can't even wait, man. I love that it's such a mystery too. It's like they're totally setting it up to give us some idea of who we think the Acolyte's going to be, and that's not who it's going to be at all. It's absolutely going to turn itself on its head because we think it's this girl, this former student, but clearly there's someone else out there with like the crazy, like the teeth helmet and everything. No, I can't wait for the twists and turns and the red herrings. The show's going to go wild. And we're getting a double drop too. First 2 episodes coming out together. So that's going to be awesome. Even with the trailers, I still don't know a whole lot about what to expect from the story itself. You know, like, and I like how much they're leaving in reserve because that feels very true to the Sith. You know what I mean? Like they're all about power. They acknowledge that knowledge itself is power. Information is power. And controlling the flow of that information is key to their very survival of being able to exist under the radar, purportedly extinct for so long that it's all about, you know, controlling what other people believing that they're gone. So the fact that the filmmakers are going to kind of like play with the audience's expectation in that way too is a very Sith thing to do. Control the flow of information, allow the wrong impression to be gleaned because it serves their purposes. That's absolutely how the Sith operate. And I feel that from the showrunners here too. And I feel like these are people who understand how the dark side works. You know, I think the show's going to get dark. It's going to get brutal. And I think a lot of people are underestimating just like what kind of places we're going to go to with this. That's the read that I get on the trailer. I'm very excited. I think it's going to give us a little something new. And I think that we're going to be forced to re-examine a lot of things that we think that we consider to be like factual and like the only way things can be. I think we're going to be reconsidering a lot of things about the Force and about alignment and about what it means to be light and dark. You know, and what is the Jedi's role in all this? Are they really the good guys all the time?
That's true.
Maybe there's some valid points being made here. You know, like talking about how they use their altruism as a way to disguise their domination of the galaxy. You know. They're here to help you. They're here to do the right thing, but you will become reliant on them. And now they wield the power of whether you live or die because they're the only ones that can save you from whatever the problem is. It's a form of power and control. And that's what's being alleged against the order here. And let's dive into that. You know, let's finally discuss that in a show instead of just being like Jedi good, Sith bad. It's like, well, maybe the Sith have a more nuanced view of power than just we want to be evil, you know? I think Star Wars has existed for long enough that we can evolve these simple black and white concepts into things that we can really sort of delve into. There's more shades of gray, you know, more blurred lines of morality and things like Andor, I think really elevated that kind of discourse within like what the concepts of Star Wars, what the tenets of Star Wars really need to be about. And I'm really hoping the Acolyte can do the same thing for like the force wielding element of the story, you know? Andor was all about resistance, about like the right to rise up, like the socio-political ramifications and what everyone's like duty is as a citizen of this large collective of the galaxy. And this show's gonna be more about what it means to walk the path of the light or the dark. But I want to have that same level of like deep analytical like dissection of those core values instead of just being like, hey, look, he used a force push. Isn't that cool? Oh, look at this lightsaber. Like, let's get some actual
Cool. Yeah.
let's get like instead of just dessert, let's get some meat and potatoes and like a real course. Discuss these things. Maybe I'm placing high expectations and I'm going to be disappointed. But like honestly, that's the reason
I don't think there's
that we're going to get that kind of a dive, and that's really what I want.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything necessarily disappointing about this show. I know the cosplaying community is going to have an absolute field day just because of how fucking cool everything aesthetically looks costume wise and the amount of detail that they have going into everything.
Dude,
plus
public robes, best Jedi robes, like the gold, brown, and like tan together, looks great, and like all the white.
Even the villains, like or potential villains, like have a lot of layering and texturization to them.
Exactly. It's that analysis of the world instead of just using it as a setting. Use it as a device to examine the choices and the people in the setting. That's what set Andor apart. That's the potential that the Acolyte has to really elevate itself above like the other Star Wars shows that we've gotten, because it takes all kinds, and there's all kinds of Star Wars fans. Everyone has their own unique flavor of Star Wars that they really like. And I don't view, like, when you look at the selection of the shows that have been made by Disney Plus, I don't view it as like, oh, this one sucks, this one's great, it's like, no, this one's for this kind of fan, this one is for this kind of fan, and like maybe you try them all out, maybe they don't all fit for you, and that's fine, but like I like leave the subjectivity out of it, and don't like try to, I don't know. We don't need to be comparing and contrasting everything, because like Andor and the Book of Boba Fett, for example, set out to accomplish different goals from each other, and therefore should be judged by different parameters. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Just for example.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, that's a great idea. I said it. So while that trailer was going, I ran all the way across the house to grab this, fell over, got back up, struggled to put it on, and sat back down just as the trailer ended. My hat fell off at some point. Let me go find it, because that's a brilliant. See if I can make this work. All right, so.
Oh my god. Oh man, it's almost like having Emerald City PTSD moment.
That's right, because of all the pranking.
Oh man.
So how do you get his heads?
Right, the eyeballs are.
Eyeballs won't stay very well, but
tricky thing. What if you tilt it more like lower on your brow? So like tilt the whole hat forward.
It's hard to get it to stay on the hat without hooking it around the eyes is the problem.
No, but I know, but tilt the hat higher, like more.
Down?
Yeah,
like this more or like this more?
No, like that, exactly.
Yeah, let me try that.
Yeah.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god.
Darth Jar Jar. Get those ears out there, boy. This is what I will wear for my Lego Darth Jar Jar reaction. This is ridiculous. We've officially devolved on this podcast. Okay. Derailed.
But
chair's not working now.
But yeah, there's a lot of things. Was that a green kyber crystal around her neck? No fucking idea, but hopefully we'll find out.
Yeah, no clue.
She was throwing metal daggers and we saw them completely vaporized within a lightsaber. So fucking cool.
So sweet.
A complete
so
detail.
Sweet.
Yeah, a complete detail that I didn't know I needed. Like was a lightsaber.
The little like force foo that she's doing like really feels like the Tartakovsky Mace Windu fighting against the battle droids.
Exactly.
Just like breaking them with force pushes. Like that's what I want. That's what I want to see. Like Ezra did that too a little bit on Peridia. He did a little bit of force foo. Carrie-Anne Moss she's gonna bring it.
Yeah.
I hope she doesn't die. I hope we get like a whole season of her and she's not like an early kill in this show. For some reason, I feel like she has that energy that she's gonna like be around for the beginning of the story, but might not make it very far. I hope I'm wrong. I hope not.
It's true though. I understand.
Yeah, the Sith, whoever they are, seems super powerful. Like they threw everybody on their ass, and that might have been like an element of surprise type strike. But like having that much power, like alone, it's formidable. And we know that the dark side is a quicker route to like stronger power, but you can't sustain it. It corrupts you. So the Sith will be like a lot stronger than the average Jedi, but not necessarily as able to control their own power.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the trade-off there. But that's about all the time that we have for our podcast tonight. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Oh yeah, the one other thing that I wanted to say is that we got a description of the Skeleton Crew show. Finally, we've had like no news about this whatsoever, but apparently the premise of the show is that a group of kids find a starship buried on their like boring little planet, and they get yeeted off into the galaxy, and they have to try and find their way home. So very similar to like, you know, it's a trope that we've seen many times, like Star Trek Voyager, for example. Like they've been cast off to this far place, and they're trying to make their way back to Earth. It's going to be that sort of a premise to the show, and so I'm wondering if it's going to be a new species on a new planet that's not really connected to the larger galaxy, or else why would it be such an obstacle that you're stuck on this ship, right? Like just get on the Navi computer, take a hyperlane, port, boom, you're good. A format that allows for like adventures of the week type things. Stop at a different planet every episode. I think it's going to be a sleeper hit. Not a lot of people are talking about Skeleton Crew. There's not a lot to talk about yet with Skeleton Crew. Like this rough description is all we have. But totally, Star Trek Prodigy is pretty much the same premise as well. So Star Trek has done it twice now, if you think about it. And it's part of the Mandoverse. It's going to be taking place timeline-wise in that set of stories as well. Yes. So yeah, I'm excited to learn more about that. If more information about Skeleton Crew does come out, we'll be covering it right here on the Dork Forces podcast. See, I said it correctly that time. Oh man, I need to give my brain a rest. But thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Dork Forces podcast, where we covered the 25th anniversary of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. We talked about Cara Dune a little bit. We talked about the Lego Star Wars trailer, the Acolyte trailer. Yeah. Potentially live action coming soon. That's pretty huge. Yeah, we introduced the Gonk of the Week, which I'm very happy about. Can't wait to share more Gonks with you guys. Come back for the Gonk of the Week next week. The podcast is at 7 PST right here on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Do you have any final remarks before we close off here, Bendu?
Yes. Next week, we will try to get into the final season of The Bad Batch as well as Tales of the Empire.
Yes, those are both things that we really want to talk about. We kind of ran out of time tonight, but we will be front-loading next week's discussion, starting off with those. Our reactions are currently available on the channel if you haven't watched them already. The second one came out today. It covers all 3 of the Barriss Offee episodes. Give that a watch. Enjoy that, and we'll be back to discuss it with you all next week. Yeah, thanks again for watching, everybody. And as always, may the Force be with you.
R2? Where are you? R2? R2? R2, you're on fire! R2-D2, you found a cigarette! Well, I don't think smoking is grown up at all. Because it's very dangerous. Smoking does dreadful things to your lungs and is very bad for your heart. Well, I know I don't have one, but humans do, and I think we should set a good example. Well done, R2. Oh, hello. You know smoking is bad for your health, and it isn't grown up at all. So please, don't smoke. R2.